Right. Looks like a school. My visit to Medina was finished, but the day was still young, so after some information, I decided to catch a glimpse of my next target, elementary school teacher Zachary Harvenfest. Let's see, apparently he's a teacher of a meadow classroom. Maybe I can just casually stroll by and take a quick peek. I hear voices from the back. I rounded a corner and cautiously peered into the school's playground. Gym shoes perched into the spongy rubber flooring as a group of children swarmed around a broad-shouldered man. There were smiles everywhere, bright laughter, and all of joy that almost hurt to look at. Teacher, I want to go. You want to go? Alright, Patrick. The fate of the world lies in your hand. Pass. That's him. He gently dribbled a basketball to a boy on the outskirts. The boy crouched and pounced upward, freeing the boy with all his strength. The ball arched and fell short of the hoop by solid feet, bubbling pathetically to the ground. The boy plumped down and sobbed. I missed. Whoa, you can't seem as like that to you're an old man like me, indeed. Come on, let's go, Pat. Yes, little one, you have yet to discover what it means to fail. Zach snapped the ball up, dumped it in the boy's hands and stooped. Rocket power, engage, vroom. He gripped the boy around the wrist and shot up, sprinting towards the hoop while making rocket noises. The boys shrieked in laughter. Go, chosen one, it's on you! The boy's hands flicked. The ball soared, buoyed by Zach's height, and suddenly fell through the hoop. The boy cheered, his small hands pounding together in thunderous applause as Zach gently lowered him to the ground. The mob of watching children whined, dogpiling on Zech in a midget-sized clump. Sorry. Teacher, I want a turn. Maybe me next, teacher. Me. Hey guys, careful. No pushing or someone could get... Ow. Hurt. Oh, creep. Oh dear. The children suddenly spread out, hushing to silence. Zech stood. In the middle of the crowd, I could make out a small girl nursing her ankle, teeth gritted. Come on, guys. What did I just say? Sorry, teacher. Zach stooped next to the girl, but she scuffled away. She hissed as her ankle jittered against the ground.
Hey.
Josie, stay still. I'm going to look at your ankle, okay? I'm fine, Mr. Harvenfest.
You sure?
It's already swelling. Leave me alone, please. Josie? That little girl. Wasn't she at Beckett's diner? He was reading her a story, wasn't he? I guess she attends the school. Why has she been so cold to Zach? He seems like a good teacher.
Hey.
Mike, Tim, get to the nurse. Yes, teacher.
Wait!
Body system, don't get separated. Louison, Wendy, round up the rest of the kids and bring them back to the classroom. Get Mrs. Taylor to look at you until I'm back. Yes, teacher. Like an organized infantry troop, the class of children formed a respective line and marched back to the classroom. Zach's influence was almost disconcerting.
Well?
Alright now. Now, all that's left is to wait for... Teacher, the nurse is gone. She's out of lunch. Of course, what luck. Josie, I'm carrying you to the nurse's office. Mike, Tim, head to the classroom. Okay. Josie, here. No, thank you. Look, I have to carry you whether you like it or not. If you try to make it on your own, your ankle will only get worse. Come on. Don't touch me, traitor. What's going on here? Excuse me. I heard some commotion.
Say,
Who are you? Zedge instinctively stepped in front of Josie, his stance guarded. I'm sorry, I don't want any trouble. I just wanted to make sure everything was okay. You don't work here? Yeah, I don't. Then why are you stepping in? Well, time to fly by the seat of my pants as usual. I was checking this place out to see if it'd be a good school for my nephew. You could have scheduled an official tour. Tours show nothing but an ideal image. I wanted to see reality. Such as, for example, a student calling a teacher a traitor. Josie? Am I being scrutinized by a second grader?
Hey.
Who was the fourth monarch of the Juin dynasty? Come again? The fourth monarch, Juin dynasty. Am I being pop quizzed by a second grader? Zedge. Who was the fourth monarch of the Juin dynasty?
well,
Fourth monarch would be the rabbit, so Nan Luik. In fact, Nan Luik is debatably the most influential poet in all of lunar history. His most famous work is known as the Riddle of Two. Not would be, else will to die. This man who hides his darkness by, and wills to not, but not distilled. A second shadow on the hill that steps in step along his side. He posed it to the great scholars and apparently created such an uproar that they protested for 48 hours outside the imperial house. No food, water, sleep, just a lot of noisy complaints about how he'd ruined their pride forever by handing them an unsolvable riddle. Anyway, Nunweek is the answer. Today I've acquired knowledge. Somebody's a fanboy! Or a fangirl. You never know. Good. Somebody's a fanboy. Are you calling me a nerd? Because if you are, you'd be most certainly correct. Ha! Got it. Josie. The fourth monarch of the Dwen dynasty was Nan Luik. I'm sorry, but since your teacher's right here, you should probably just ask him instead. I think you're trustworthy. Let's go. She just marched away. Okay, how could she do that on a bad leg? Was I just being tested by a second grader?
Yep.
She does that to everyone she meets. Looks like you've passed. Good on you, really. She's a harsh judge of character than I am. A harsher judge of character than I am. Sorry for doubting you at first, but I need to prioritize the kid's safety. Don't be sorry. I'd be worried if you trusted every person who walked on campus. Did you fail Josie's test or something? Is that why she's a little standoffish towards you? Well, that's an oddly intimate question, considering we've just met. Good way to break the ice, I figure. A bit extreme, but you're not wrong. Why don't we resume our conversation after you carry Josie over? Right. I suppose that Josie would prefer someone to carry her who's of the same gender. Josie? Yes? I really don't think you should be walking on that leg.
There's a saying.
Pain is benefit. Today's agony is tomorrow's strength. What is with this kid? Well, there's a difference between building toughness and just injuring yourself further. You don't want your leg to get worse, do you? I'm young, it will heal easily enough. That doesn't matter, being hurt isn't good. Just because you're young doesn't mean that you're invincible. Those are wise words. Good, then I can do this. Hey, that's not fair. You just said that I was wise. I said you said wise words, which means I'm right, yes? Well, at least she's not trying to jump out of my arm. So Josie, just a little tip. But when you're trying to determine people's characters, quizzing them on monarch lines is probably not the way to go. Imagine if they were a kidnapper who happened to be really good at history. He could answer your questions just like that. Should I be talking to her about this kind of stuff? She's just a kid.
Well,
It wasn't about the monarch line. It was about how you handled a question that you didn't know the answer to. Oh? You immediately consulted an expert rather than trying to look smart in front of a child. That takes humility and integrity. Such an articulate second grader. Are they all bred like this nowadays? That's very perceptive of you.
of course.
Of course I have to be perceptive to uphold the family honour. She's not only a miniature adult, but she's a miniature knight. Can I keep her?
Oh.
Oh, here is a facility office. I can wait on here on my own. I don't think your teacher will be very happy with that. Mr. Harbinfest would never be my true teacher. Please put me down. Why won't he be your true teacher? He is not trustworthy. She almost looks afraid. And earlier she even called him a traitor. Why not? What is your name? Alison.
Miss.
Miss Alison, do you know what is more wicked than thievery? What? Divulging the personal secret of another. I will never tell you about Miss Harvenfest, Miss Alison. Okay, yes, very mature of you, Josie. It's good not to gossip.
Hey.
Here is the nurse's office. Thank you for escorting me. No problem. Looks like she's now safely inside. What a cutie. She's a bookworm. Is no one else here? Zach is probably back at the classroom. He just left Josie alone with me. That's awfully trusting. Even if he couldn't carry Josie, shouldn't he have at least walked with us? This is kind of fishy. Well, I guess it's not my problem. I'll just wait until Zach is done. But time flies by. I think that I ended up falling asleep. Was that from staying up, editing photos? Maybe, but probably not. Was that from trying to investigate as a tabloid journalist without drawing suspicion? Maybe, but probably not. Was it from deep in my subconscious? The part of me that never speaks, but is always speaking. Knowing the troubles of Zetri Harbinfest? Maybe, but probably not. But if I didn't subconsciously know the troubles of Zetri Harbinfest, maybe I knew the troubles he would eventually bring. Did I fall asleep?
Oh.
Sleeping Beauty's awake. Ah! Where did you come from?
Well.
Honestly, I've been here the whole time. That sounds really bad. Oh, watching me sleep, what a creeper. Nah, only the creepiest of creeps would do such a savage thing like that. It's fine, thank you. It's fine, I know you were just watching out for me.
Yeah.
Well, good. I'd like to avoid a restraining order if possible. Thanks for your help earlier, miss. Alison. My name is Alison. Alison, huh? My name is... Actually, how do you know my name? What? Since when?
Well.
Earlier when Josie quizzed you. Who was the fourth monarch of the Dwen dynasty? Come again? The fourth monarch Dwen dynasty? Zach, who was... Okay. I thought so. You called me Zach. Creep. What do I do? Should I bluff and claim that he told me earlier? Should I make up some story about meeting him a long time ago and he just doesn't remember? Should I feign confusion and say it was... and I know myself? Everything sounds ridiculous. Well, there's a funny story behind that. Hey, you don't have to look so serious, you know. I'm just curious. This isn't an interrogation or anything. Oh, right, I'm just successfully psyched myself out. It was because my previous meetings were traumatic. Beckett first met me when I was sneaking around the back hallway. Leaf was being Leaf, and Holt tried to kill me, kind of. But that seems really laid back, and July is very welcoming. Like she always has a set of arms ready to hug everyone. But that seems really laid back. I think I can finally relax. I overheard some of my kids saying your name earlier. Ah, that makes sense. So what brings you to the school? Old memories? Yeah, something like that. Perfect. Can I get your number? Wait, what? Why?
You know.
You're smart, you're cute, and you seem good with kids. It can't be. Have you ever considered becoming a teacher? Yeah, it can't be. I'm not really the teaching type, I think.
Wise man once said.
Wise man once said, everyone teaches at some point in their life. It's just a question of who and how. Charming platitude. Thanks. I have a whole collection of them. So, what do you say?
Hey!
I smell a con scheme rise. Are you trying to blackmail someone into substituting for you again? What, you wooed me, Julies? Wait a minute. July, as in Messina July, whose audio engineer is Leaf, whose close friends with Beckett, whose uncle is Holt? How could anyone claim that there's no connection between the suspects?
Hi.
Oh, hi. Are you Ray's new target? Ray's target? Don't listen to him, little dumpling. He just wants more people to fill up his potential substitute roster so he can play hooky more often. That's not true. I'm just trying to get more people for fulfillment of raising the next generation. You hear that? Shady. All of it. Really shady. Hang on.
Sweet saints!
Sweet saints of the sea. You're a darling Honey Nugget fan. Yes, I am.
What?
You two know each other?
No way!
You two know each other. And you two know each other. Yeah, let's join in the conversation. This must be destiny. I just love unexpected connections, don't you?
I don't know.
I guess it depends on what scale is the unexpected. Rhetorical question raised. Of course, everybody loves unexpected connections. Point aside, we're digressing. Raise, could you lend me your voice again? Why is he called Raise? Well, Honey Nugget, that's a bit of a long story. Something we don't have the time for, unfortunately. Tell you later, with a wink. If we see each other again, sure. Of course we will.
Darling Honey Nugget.
It's obvious that a change of fate have already tied us to the same boat. Great, now let's set sail then. Change of fate or just a really eccentric tabloid boss?
Jules.
So, Jules, when do you need me to record? Is he also a singer? The files didn't indicate that he was a musician. Maybe it's just his hobby. Honestly, at this point, maybe I should just forget about the files.
Right.
We can record at your earliest convenience. I'll substitute for 3 days. That should work, right? Since I'm already in their system. You sure know how to make a deal. Should we go practice at your house? Sounds good. We'd be ditching the darling Huggy Nugget, though. Oh, please, go ahead. I was just passing by anyways. Well, if you say so. Let me treat you sometime, though, okay? It's the second time I've done this to you, so I feel kind of bad.
Say.
Oh, and Alison, at the very least, let me offer you a favour for helping Josie out. Redeemable any time. Thank you, I'll let you know. Well, see ya. Have the loveliest of lovely days. Bye, Alison. Call me crazy, but I get the feeling that we'll be seeing each other quite often. Stop trying to seduce people as potential substitute teachers, Roz, and leave the poor dumpling alone.
Jules?
It's not seducing, I'm not seductive, I'm Jules. I love the story. It's actually quite deep as well, I like it. Getting quite deep into each character. It's instinct. It's something that's unexplainable. Some are more attuned to it than others. Some believe in it more than others. Some use it more than others. But when it comes to instinct, there's always two incontrovertible facts. One, it exists. Number two, it really makes sense. Reporters usually need it, but normal people... Then again, it's not like you could say that Zachary Harvinfest was a completely normal person. Half normal, perhaps. That's the closest he can get. From an outside perspective, maybe my first meeting with Zach was something cute and fluffy and invadable. Something that would show up in novels or TV dramas under the category of romance fiction. Plot point A. Young compassionate woman meets laid-back kindly teacher. Plot point B. Destiny continually leads the two to each other. Plot point C. A courtship of purity, sweetness, and tender beauty begins. Plot point D. The woman learns a dangerous truth. Of course, such a perfect story relies on two vital points. Number one, the young woman and laid-back teacher met each other without any previous ulterior motives. Number two, the laid-back teacher is who he seems to be. One more character to investigate. Unfortunately, in this case, neither point was true. The ox. A bovine. Honest-natured. Dangerous when provoked. Of course July would represent a rabbit. The only character in the game that would. Only one person left. Marin Teller, a successful entrepreneur. Apparently, her most recent business venture is a music store called Audius. It's literally 1 block away from Beckett's diner. Is that a coincidence? I don't know. And here we are, a friendly little music store, huh? I'm surprised an entrepreneur would expect this to sell well. Feels almost like a casual coffee shop. Looks like customers can just come in and listen to music. Vinyl records, cassettes, CDs, everything from vintage to modern. The vintage stuff is pricier, but it's not ridiculous. I wonder how much they make.
Miss?
Welcome to Audios. How can I help you? Hi, why do I keep running to this guy in random places? Hi, what are you doing here? I work here. How can I help you? He's the clerk of a music store. Is that a good idea? I was looking for the owner. Already? Huh? What do you mean already? We've only been talking for 1 minute. Why are you so quick to call for the manager? I'm not reporting you. I just want to meet the owner. Why? I'm curious about how this business works.
Well?
It's a store. People buy music. You don't say. But that doesn't explain how this place earns a profit. Most people buy their audio digitally nowadays. And the fact that there's a free listening policy is almost a disincentive for purchases. I was just curious on how this place made money. You're here to learn about business? Well, Marin Teller is a businesswoman. I figured that she'd only respect a business-related reason.
Camera girl.
Hey, camera girl. Are you intentionally loitering at the checkout line, or is the purchase of an item sometime within your 5-year plan? Hi there. Aren't you dazzling? Well, that's convenient. Foolish. Loitering is always highly inconvenient. That's why it is commonly prohibited.
Well,
She was actually looking for you, Miss Teller. Me? What for? An interview? Journalists, death itself could not be more persistent or odious. What makes you think she's a journalist?
Obviously.
The camera, obviously. She's a photographer. As are all journalists. I don't like the direction this is headed. I was just passing by the music store and I found it interesting. I couldn't think of how a physical music store could be seen as a market ripe for profit. Good question. The answer is simple. Is it not? Pardon? It will not result in a sizable profit. In fact, breaking even would be a miracle in and out of itself. But aren't you an entrepreneur? Isn't making money important? But an entrepreneur doesn't have just one store or one genre or one thing to sell. They have many things to sell. They're an entrepreneur. They're always thinking outside the box. They're making ideas. They're thinking ideas. They're taking risks on a daily basis.
I see.
I see. You are a corporate spy. Pardon? Not only are you already aware of my identity, but you are seeking information on my latest business agenda. Looking to uproot me, I would ask who hired you, but I am certain you would say nothing. Corporate politics definitely have nothing to do with this. If I gave my detailed business plans to any poor soul or asked, I would not have a cent to my name. People are innate liars and thieves. They hear and they steal. Hence why the patent system is such a necessity. Okay, fine. Just don't tell me anything. Do you always accuse your customers of being corporate spies?
Actually.
You are not a customer. A customer is defined by an incoming transaction, of which you have made none. Miss Teller, weren't you supposed to limit your visits? Has she scared away customers before? Little wonder with a personality like that. Lewis, do not give me that face. I trust my intuition. This woman is not a potential customer. She is a predator. A predator?
Suppose the following.
Let me ask you a question, camera girl. Suppose there are two snakes. One that has been raised in the wild, as is its nature state, and one that has been raised in a civilized household. The snake within the civilized household has been pampered with love and acceptance as a treasured pet. Which is more dangerous? Well... why are you saying such a backward question towards me. The domesticated snake. I don't know where she's going with this, but I'm going to assume that it's a trick question. The domesticated snake.
Good.
Good. A domesticated snake harbours the same destructive potential as its wild counterpart, but is unaware of it. At any moment, its dormant instincts could spring awake. A domesticated snake is unpredictable, and that is its greatest threat. Whereas one always knows how to act around wild snakes. This lady has several issues. A loving family raised a boa constrictor as one of their own. It suffocated the father upon reaching adulthood. It had lived peacefully for years, and yet all it took was one moment to change. Wait, is this a real story?
Perhaps.
Look it up. Why bother asking me whether I am lying about my own words? Oh, right. And what's your point with this whole snake thing? What do you think? Everyone is a snake. The snake is everyone. What manner of new age brandishes is this? A recent developed worldview. What's next? I am the snake, you are the snake, we are all the snake? No, camera girl. You are the only one who is the snake. You are showing the image of a nice and civil person which makes you unpredictable. I have no way of knowing your true intentions. Should I humour you once, it could result in betrayal further down the road. So, why are you, a respectable young woman outside a target demographic, entering this music store? Why are you, a citizen with a camera, speaking with the owner about her business agenda? And why do you, a person who I have seen for the first time, already know my name and occupation? Very little about this visit makes sense, barring 3 explanations. 1. You are a journalist. 2. You are a corporate spy. 3. You are romantically infatuated with someone who frequents this place, whether a customer or a clerk. I see your surprise. Naturally, I do not claim to understand the workings of this ridiculous, however you want to pronounce it, concept of non-practical emotions. That being said, it is a highly probable option. Sorry, my words are going off train of thought there. That being said, it is a highly probable option that I cannot afford to neglect. So, what should it be? What should it be? Is the idea of someone being randomly curious foreign to her? Maybe it is, because she lives and breathes an atmosphere stuffed with business politics. What am I supposed to say?
Wowie.
Wowie, it's Mars! Are you serious? More connections! Let's just say that everyone is married to each other and call it a day.
Hiya.
Hi Twitchy, we're here for a recording session. I'll meet you in the back room.
Oh.
If it isn't Harvinvest and Regal.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Mars.
Well?
How's business? Doing well enough, naturally. Off to record?
Reese.
Reese is giving me some background vocals. Isn't that sweet of him? Not particularly. It is not a symbiotic exchange rather than a gift. How many days do you offer to substitute this time? Hey, I mean it. I'd like that. I like it too, but kids are super adorable. You should give it a try sometime, Mars. But all that is good on this earth, please no. I'd rather cast the crown jewels to a parcel of hogs. Regardless, I shall leave Lewis to attend to this business. Take care.
Camera girl.
As for you, camera girl, let's not meet again. I felt it would result in misfortune. Goodbye to you too. Hey, wait, it's you. Yes, hi.
Sweet
Sweet Saints is for Honey Nugget. This is what, the 5th time? 3rd. It must be destiny. We're fated to be sisters for life. Let's meet up for coffee sometime. I know this great diner that makes the best brew ever. Diner? Don't tell me. So how did you find Mars? Mars is in Marlin, right? Julius is curious because Mars is a bit, well, rough around the edges, as you probably learned. Yes, she is! She is rough around the edges like Leaf is. That's one way to put it. Ah, don't be discouraged. She gave you the talk, didn't she? The talk? You know, about domesticating wild snakes and how you're a domesticated snake. Oh yeah, she did. Don't think too much about it, okay? She does that to everyone. It's a sign that she wants to like you.
Yeah.
True. If she doesn't like you, she would have formally introduced herself and started networking. That's when you know you need to run. So, it's no biggie if she calls you a predator? She called you a predator? Is that a bad thing?
Hey.
It's a compliment from her. Very bad then. A compliment. Very, very bad from the sounds of it. Well, I've got to get to work for now. but let me give you my number. I'm serious on that coffee deal, okay? I'm serious too. Anyway. I mean, thanks. See ya. Is a compliment from Marlin some not... Oh, goodness sakes. Synonymous with the plague.
Well...
We're just overthinking things. Don't freak out about it. That doesn't sound ominous or anything. Hey, on the bright side, my intuition was on point. I predicted yesterday that we'd see each other quite often. You knew that it'd be this soon, right? Well, apparently, July and I are fated to be sisters, so that's a thing. What about us? Us? Would you say that this feels like fate? Why are we on a common route? How dare you say I'm on a... I still won't teach you. Still won't teach you, just so that you know. So right through me, didn't ya? Are you really that crazy about getting substitute teachers? How'd you keep your job at school if you never actually teach?
Wait.
I teach plenty. It's just that, you know, it's kind of sad if children are surrounded by homogeneous environment throughout their entirely early development. Same classmates, same teachers, same building, all from age 6 to 11, by introducing them to people from different occupational and cultural backgrounds, they get a more holistic view of society. That's nice to hear. That's eloquent, but it also sounds like a bunch of hogwash. Eloquence is my speciality, usually. And hogwash, also my speciality. How do you even get past the paperwork? No, all you need is a bachelor's degree from my accredited 4-year university. Oh, and no criminal record. Yeah, that always helps. No cheaters' credentials required. Really? Yep, it's just substitute teaching for elementary school kids after all. A fingerprint test and some paperwork later and you're good to go. Unless you have a criminal record. I don't know. That one time when I broke into a federal prison might reflect poorly on my character. Broke into, not out of. Does it matter? Well, one goes one direction or another. One goes one direction, the other goes the opposite direction. Eloquent. My speciality. Hey, Rays, get your lazy bum over to us, Mike. Alright. Well, it was nice talking to you, Alison. I've got to go pay my dues. Let me know when you need to clash in that favour, okay? You know where to find me. Indeed. Four suspects in half an hour. I've always thought that it would have been a bit excessive. The time I was optimistic. No, at the time I was optimistic. I believed that. Maybe I'd just been lucky. Now, well, I don't think that's the case. I think that they were unlucky. Once there was a girl. Most believe that she never had a childhood, but that's false. Everyone has a childhood. Everyone was born at some point, wailing and screaming and fragile and beautiful bundle of life's beginning. Not everyone has the privilege of staying young, but that's a different story. Once there was a girl, and she was very, very clever. This cute girl learned certain ordinary things from a young age, like manners and arithmetic and the inner workings of running a business. She also did not learn certain things that she should have ordinarily learned, like empathy and love and altruism. Once this clever girl grew into a clever woman, and that was her problem. Frankly speaking, that's everyone's problem. She was too caught up in being clever to see where it led, the lonely, lovely world paved with blood and iron, and money. And in the end, all it took was one person to bring her life crashing down. Destiny. Preordained, self-made and self-inflicted. Nothing else. I presume that the certain routes would be ironed out in the full game.
Miss Hart.
Ah, Miss Hart, splendid timing. Here to report, sir. I found something kind of weird. All of your suspects are well acquainted with one another. I recall that you mentioned that none of them were connected, so... What does connection have to do with them being Zodiacs? I don't get your meaning. Have you discovered anything about their powers? Well, no, they haven't shown any sign of having any powers. Isn't it weird that they all know each other, though? It is not related to the supernatural, therefore we shall have no part of it. But them all being connected could have a huge point of evidence. Really? How so? Well, I mean, if one is a Zodiac, then doesn't it make it more likely that the others are also Zodiacs? And is one a Zodiac? That investigation is still pending. Then for now it has nothing to do with us. Am I crazy? Am I the only one who thinks that this is weird? It doesn't seem to care in the slightest. Miss Hart, do not misunderstand. Think of it this way. Assuming that the suspects all hold spirits of a Zodiac, then of course they would be affiliated. Our focus is on determining whether they hold these spirits, not on the details of their affiliation. Yes, sir. Good. Now that I have your first article assignment, as you must be aware, Founders Day is imminent. 5 days? Am I not looking forward to all of this traffic? The biggest holiday of the year is a lot of fun, but not for people who need to drive anywhere. Miss Hart, as a supernatural tabloid, our reader base will be expecting an exploit on Founders Day. Think of the concept and execute it tomorrow. Tomorrow? Hello? Media deadlines? Yes, sir. It can be brief, but make sure it is original. Citizens of Lunar City are quite tired of the same old interviews. Yes, sir. May fortune find you farewell, Miss Hart. An original, exciting, accurate article by tomorrow. Right. Guess it's time for an all-nighter. Gotta research a bunch of sources, make some calls. Doesn't he have other writers for this? Oh well, a job is a job. Since this article will be on Founders Day, maybe we should take a look at some weird Founders Days of the past. If nothing else, it does seem to attract some odd events. The remaining question is, how sensational should I be? If I don't throw in a hook, no one would read it, but I don't want to completely neglect accuracy either. There has to be some kind of midpoint. Oh. What the heck is my... Okay. Okie dokie. What am I supposed to do here? Oh, this just means events. I thought I literally had to interact with the thing there. Founders Day and again. Cantor Silo. On August 29th, the streets of Lunar City will come alive with prismatic lights, vibrant music, and masses of civilians dressed in traditional. That for the most widely celebrated holiday of the year, Founders Day. Founders Day announced by the Executive Cabinet as a national holiday following the... I think that would be a better way to do things on. Not a civil war, but a horrifying massacre. Horrifying massacre of 1525 aims to remember Lunar City's cultural roots as a push for the Department of Culture. It says a day of legend, the founding of the city, which was purportedly served by 12 ancient men and women known as Zodiacs. No Founders' Day is strictly in the past, even in recent years. The holiday has attracted a myriad of unusual and inexplicable events that... they're definitely related to supernatural origins, yeah. What? That's not what I selected, game. They're definitely related to mythical origins? On Founders... I definitely clicked the other option! Bloody heck. Founders Day, maybe that's a bit of a mistake. A masked figure garbed in traditional lunar wear materialized on the rooftops of Canton Silo, sorry. Without the formality of a personal introduction, the speaker proceeded to aid various causes throughout the day, such as abating flames, locating missing people, and aiding charity work in the slums of the canton. Mesmerizing audiences with his powerful charisma and quiet charm, the figure was... it was clearly a Zodiac. Clearly one of the Zodiacs of old. Authority figures were less than enthusiastic. Oh wait, you should say... Oh yeah, they did say that there was a balance between real and not real. Obviously the attention is good, said Police Superintendent Jury Holtes, but we can't just have the unlicensed civilians running around like they're seasoned experts. A lot of people could get hurt that way. And a reference has been put in. Yes. True to their words, the Lunar Police Department dispatched orders to take the masked man in for questioning. After countless delays due to the hectic activity of Founders Day, they came up empty-handed. Within 24 hours of his first appearance, the mysterious man had disappeared without a trace. Investigation continued for months, but he would return to the spirit realm. He eventually returned to his home in the spirit realm. Personally, I found the man somewhat admirable, said Federal Lewis, one of the notable 12 chairs to the Executive Cabinet as the Governor's Secretary of Health and Human Services. Someone needs to help the citizens. Yes. I don't know how to read that word. Can be concerning, and freedom fighters can easily cross the line into terrorism. Does this mean unlicensed citizens should just sit idle by and watch someone burn to death in their own house? Another reference. Well, another finding there. After 28 years, the case is still without leads, and the police have accepted their capabilities. No. Have presumably been dropped. General public statements seem to consider the masked man as a vigilant, or at best a well-wishing citizen. The prospect of a real Zodiac from the legends is not entertained by closed-minded authorities. While records in 400, specifically during the Zodiac War, are really inadequate, and that's a problem, says Marion Hayworth, the Secretary of Culture of the Executive Cabinet. We have very little concrete evidence of the existence of real Zodiacs for now. They're just a pleasant urban myth and nothing more. Historian Lisa Berry elaborated further on the state of historical documents where records were burned or destroyed during the Zodiac War. It was a time of utter anarchy and chaos. You couldn't walk into a grocery store without possibly getting knifed or mugged, and that's if you were lucky enough to have your grocery store still standing. When asked about pre-war documentation, Barry's reply was frank. We can't say whether the records that specifically mentioned Zodiacs hold historical validity, or whether they're simply popular literature from that time. Most of what we're able to extrapolate is cultural and celestial aspects. How they ate, how they farmed, how they set up an executive cabinet of 12 secretaries, how they founded the original 4 cantons and later added on a 5th. All of these facts are known, but there are no official records on supernatural beings. Witnesses saw incredible magical abilities. Witnesses saw the masked man display incredible magical abilities, proving the existence of the legendary Zodiacs. That dude was strong, and like, I don't mean he's one of the top branches at the gym, said current football coach Chad Fellow. He lifted a car off of a kid. He vanished without a trace to the point where the police can't find neither hair or hide, said Dave Run, owner of Run Hardware. What other explanation do you need? I was a little girl at the time, reminisced an author by the name of Maggie Kelly, but I'll never forget what I saw. His hands were glowing like white fire, his eyes were alight beneath his mask. I've never seen human eyes like that. Never. Kelly is a prolific author of 14 novels, all of which are centered around Zodiac legends. She was rescued by the masked man when her residence caught fire due to a gas leak. Like Kelly, many citizens were swept up in the idea of the Zodiac's return. The sighting as Founder Day of 792 ALE would be called spawned an unparalleled boom of entertainment and media revolving around the Zodiacs for nearly 2 decades. Referred to as a legendary boom, the myths of old were regarded with new interest. Recently, trends have settled into a more diverse focus, though the Zodiacs have never gone forgotten. Citizens are encouraged to keep their eyes and ears open for any paranormal sights on August the 29th, as Founders Day has a history of attracting unusual events. There, they could catch up to the supernatural audience more than enough, right? Time to return this in and finally get some sleep. And several cups of coffee during the process. August the 25th. I might miss some things about college, but all-nighters is not one of them. I wonder if there's been any feedback on the article so far. And would you look at that? 322 comments are growing. Supernature terrific, working his magic. The only difference between this article and the others is that the writer bothered you to use spell check. Ouch. 12 alive and not more than... Do people actually believe this? Not gonna lie, buddy. I'm kind of with you there. We post this on 5 different pages or your mother will... If all of reported to be best Robert Shara. Remember showing 99 people went posters, will you? Supernatural getting more and more sensational, what a surprise. Maybe I shouldn't have been so scandalous. I got a free $100 gift card for Teller online by signing up here. Which is a Bitly account. Bitly link. There's always one. Pretty brutal reception. I should probably rethink how I write these articles. It might really matter down the road. Ah, but boss. Hello. Miss Hart, well done. Oh, thanks. The quality of the writing certainly speaks of yourself, and your angle of approach has garnered quite some traffic. As expected, your articles are of considerable worth. Well, so writing is what you hired me for. Not really. Pardon? Oh, nothing. That sounded strange. Let's pry into more concern. We've done this for about 2 hours now, for goodness sakes. Sure didn't sound like nothing, sir. That would depend on your definition of nothing, would it not, Miss Hart? I'm pretty sure that there's only one definition for nothing, sir, and it's in the dictionary. Some definitions are known by society and not by the dictionary, Miss Hart. Amongst them is the truest definition of nothing, which is a secret. One that you ought to be happy not to know. As far as you're concerned, I said nothing. Farewell. And now I'm wondering why Pathfinder really hired me. I mean, his interview was pretty shoddy. It felt like he'd already made up his mind to accept me before he even called. What if I'm being used? Working for the Supernature is starting to get to me. I should just work. Work for this job that's putting a roof over my head and food on my table. Okay, now that I met all the suspects, it's time to consider my next steps. Founders Day brings up a pretty good opportunity. I could just invite them to one of the pageants. Spend some time with them, do a little digging. Who should I focus on? We are only with the males in this cast. This is why we save before a choice like this presents itself, because then we preserve our opportunities to explore the other routes. This is a very long demo, I must say. Very nice, but very long. Well, we're going to do all of them anyways, so left to right just seems like the most obvious option. But where's our friends July and the other woman we just encountered? Maybe it's just a more relationship romance thing after all. Beckett. Why not, eh? Take us to the pageant. Check. Flawless excuse. Check. Obligatory nervousness. Check, unfortunately. Right, here goes nothing. Beckett, can we go out sometime? Yeah. What is he murmuring? Hello? Hi there. Sorry to disturb you. Can I have a moment? Oh, Miss Alison. Yeah, me again. Surprise. What brings you here? Was there a problem with receiving payment? No, not at all. I was just wondering. Is your restaurant open on Founders Day? Certainly not. Oh? Founders' Day is a remembrance of our forefathers. It is a time of celebration and thanksgiving, at least for me and my employees. Oh? He looks really serious about this. Well, do you ever go to the annual pageant? Ordinarily, I do not, sorry. Well, wait, really? I thought that basically everyone goes to the pageant.
Well...
The pageant does not evoke good thoughts. Really? I thought that taking time to remember history helps us keep our unity in mind. You know, as lunar citizens. National pride and all that. The founding is a myth. Oh well, myths can still do that. And stories, they can unite people. Where are you going with this, Miss Alison? I want to ask you to come to the pageant at Season Theatre. Here's a ticket.
Excuse me.
If I might ask, why invite me? Isn't it normal for people to invite each other to the pageants? Symbol of unity, goodwill, nationalist pride?
Alright.
Alright, I shall attend. Wait, really? Bluff what you just said?
Yes.
I did, but I should like to honour your cordial invitation. Oh well, that was easy. Asking nice people is awfully relaxing. So, it'll be okay?
Well...
Perhaps things have changed. We shall see. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm so blind. What if Beckett doesn't dislike the pageant because of its content, but rather... by any chance, do you have an ex who, you know, took you to the pageant or anything? Not in my recollection. Though I do remember dressing a bad knife wound. Founders Day, can turn out rather odd. A knife wound? Yes, or perhaps it was a sword. Where would you even get a sword wound?
Well...
Sparring, naturally. Is that legal? My apologies, it seems to have frightened you. It frightened anyone. I mean, sword wounds from sparring? It's just a lot to take in. This isn't exactly ancient times. Exactly, and swords were used in ancient times. Chimes with swords. Sparring comes with risks in every sport. Consider martial arts or boxing. Broken bones, dislocated joints, concussions. Even that. But why sword fighting? Don't worry, Miss Alison. Nothing truly unfortunate has ever occurred. We take reasonable precautions, and the injuries are superficial. They heal completely within a few months. You still have those few months where you're in agony, but we'll just go with the flow for now. Somehow that just makes everything sound even worse. Do you usually treat sword wounds, or wounds in general? I was trained in some medicine and first aid for my education. But for swords? Not like a heart attack or a lethal allergy? Why are we getting a bit like lethal all of a sudden? Well, I assume that I am in no way limited. Stab wounds, amputated limbs, whether that means from poisoned weapons and non-lethal gunshots are all within my training.
Isn't it normal?
What's wrong? Isn't it normal? No, it's not! It definitely isn't. I have some concerns. Well, it's a very useful skill to have. Shall I teach you? I'll pass, thanks. I don't think I'll be running into poisoned weapons anytime soon. No one expects to. That's a portion of their effectiveness. Why is he talking like he knows from personal experience?
Miss Alison?
Well, Miss Alison, I shall see you at a pageant. Thank you for the invitation. No problem. Am I the only one concerned that sparring with soft shorts is his casual hobby? Let me know if you need anything.
Yes.
Certainly. Would you like something for your way out? On the house, consider it my thanks. Huh? Thanks for what? For inviting me? Look, just take the offer, you're going to get free food. Who the hell would say no to that? Well, probably someone who is really greedy, but if someone offers it to you without any concern, then there's no bad outcome from that. Wow, this place is really nice. Usually I only see the pageant at small theatres, but thankfully Pathfinder's willing to reimburse a bigger expense I wonder how much money Supernature makes. They probably get tons of advertising fees. Well, I guess I'll just take my seat and wait. Why do I feel like someone's watching me? Whereabouts are their eyes? Yeah, he's staring at me, alright. Or maybe he's staring at someone behind me? That'd make more sense. I've never seen this guy before. You... Is he mouthing something? He's not looking away. There has to be someone behind me, right? Don't see anyone. Wait. Where'd he go? It is one of them. Okay, Alison, calm down. Don't overthink things. This job is making you paranoid. That's all.
Miss Alison?
Miss Alison? Ah, and look how wonderful you dressed. Oh, hi, Beckett. Wow, you're all dressed up.
Yes.
It's a family tradition. That's pretty cool. When my siblings were small, we used to attend a local festival together. Grandfather would insist that we all dress formally to honour history. History, huh? I wonder if this is related to the fact that he has a sword, or a bunch of knick-knacks in his office. Perhaps I should mention, I took the liberty of inviting a few of my friends. Oh?
Hiya.
Hiya, honey nugget. Hi there, guys. Hey. Hello. So we all came here inevitably. Oh, wow. Did I overextend? No. It's great, really. And it literally couldn't get more convenient for me. Except the Marlin came too, but I already knew that'd be a long shot. We should all sit down. Do you guys know where your seats are? They're all on this row, actually, right next to each other. Really? But I'll take it should be in different batches. A friend took care of the matter. A friend? Marlin, you met her already? Marlin went through all of the trouble of having them sit together? That doesn't sound like her. Oh, don't you just adore Founders Day? Look at all the pretty... Oh gosh. It's like art. I always wish I were good at art. Me too. But I learned my dear granny, bless her soul, affirmed that I have the artistic talent of a bitter grunt mongoose. You can compose, Julie, and sing.
No.
Neither of which... Hey, it's an art in the sense of hearing, okay? Neither of which have anything to do with colour or fine motor skills. They can be translated into skills if you believe there's skills, July, of your music and voice caliber. But thanks to the vote of confidence, Twitch. Hey, this isn't Twitch, you know. You know, the history behind it is really interesting. They were first made out of woven cloth until silk was discovered. But even though the rich could afford to make silk, only government officials were allowed to wear silk in public. It was a status symbol. Shows how people would try to differentiate themselves with just about anything, right? Now, thanks to industrialization and civil rights, anyone can have a silk queen.
Oh.
Someone's leaking his inner history, teacher.
Well.
Nah. Except queer aren't silk, not anymore. Silk's too heavy. People aren't used to that kind of weight in their clothes. Huh? Then what are they made out of? Crinoline, chiffon, polyester, stuff like that.
Huh?
What is it?
Uncle.
She appears startled, Uncle.
Huh?
What for? How your thuggish appearance belays extensive knowledge on sewing. Thuggish might be a bit harsh. And why'd you have a sword on you as well, Beckett? I guess I just didn't expect you to be that type, to like fabric. Nothing to do with liking fabric.
Had a job once.
Had a job once, you don't need to know. Well, since you mentioned that you had a job in the fabric industry or the lines of clothing, maybe it does have to do with us after all in our lovely Supernature articles.
So...
Holt knows everything. That's why they call him Grumps, or Dad, Or uncle. Well, that makes more sense. I found it rather fascinating that certain terms have kept their Australian roots, even though it is now considered a dead language. Maybe because it refers to something traditional?
Perhaps.
Very possible. Literal translation of that is vestments of the moon. Kwai were once made by the hands of select artisans. These all sound like Chinese-orientated names. Many of them symbolize stories, culture, or family history by utilizing specific decorative elements. More than mere clothes, Kui are seen as a chronicle, an artifact, a memento. Does your Kui tell a story? Ugh, don't get him started.
Yes.
It certainly does. This has been handed down for generations. Great care has been taken to preserve the fabric. If you look closely, the brown embroidery reflects a sinuous beauty of fire. The flame-coloured flowers, which are gladiol, represent the sword. Their colour reiterates the motive of fire. The Kui's primary colour is deep crimson, which is indicative of blood. And the edges bear motifs of white flowers. White symbolises death. You may recall a typical funeral fare was pure white to signify innocence for departed souls.
Well,
Therefore, with everything together, you may infer that this Kui represents... I would think that if you go with the enactment that it represents both a balanced view of red and white, therefore it has to do something with war, I believe. It represents the destruction of war. Fire, swords, blood, death.
yes.
Precisely. It's a chronicle of a specific war, isn't it? Could it be probably what you are thinking? Yes. You really do love history, don't you? He does. Too much. Even filled his head up with this old language. Hey, having this kind of old language or this knowledge intact is detrimentally useful. You probably have no idea how many open offers there are out in society where having this set of skills is really, really good. You never know what may be around a corner. In all fairness, Uncle, studies in Astrial is a family tradition. You study Astrial?
Yes.
Naturally, it is a beautiful language that contains much of our heritage. I really feel like this guy grew up in a different world. Well, what's bad about that, huh? What's good about being normal?
You see.
He's basically fluent, unfortunately. I don't know. I know just enough to understand you, and it's still annoying. Wait, why do you understand Astrial?
You don't need to know.
I don't. Not that much. And you don't need to know why. What I know is all because of two people. One of them was this kid. Oh, Uncle, don't you give yourself enough credit. The show's about to start. Or something else is going to be displayed. I'm so excited. You've seen this 100 times. Doesn't make it any less awesome. I get it.
Hey.
Shh, everyone. The lights dimmed. The gentle chatter faded. For a moment, there was only peace. A silence that rested over everything. But in the quiet, in the stillness, there was an underlying thrill of anticipation. The annual pageant was something that every Lunar City citizen has seen dozens of times. And yet, sometimes the oldest stories are the most beloved. One more breath and then... the curtain opened. What played out on the stage was a tale that we all know full well. In a time long ago, before Lunar City was created, before history began, 12 of man rose from the sea, but they were met with a world of fangs and shadow. a world where rabid beasts prowled, where flowers blossomed from venom, where lava boiled in putrid fissures. The land was harsh. Stars rained from the skies and struck the ground with blood. A never-ending sea of ash tainted the horizon. Relentless winds cut into the flesh like knives. Yet the 12 would not admit defeat, for they were the Zodiacs. On that day they resolved to tame all of nature and created the birthplace of civilization. The first was shrewd. He knew that the others would take care of everything practical. Food, water, shelter. The rat. He cared little for the well-being of others or trivial pursuits like altruism. So instead he thought ahead. To secure his future, he built a storehouse, vast and omnipotent, something that would be unveiled in the harsher winters and the plagues. He was given the name Rat. Next we have the ox. The second, selfless and dependable, worked tirelessly to cultivate the barren soil into rich, fertile grounds for planting. From dawn until dusk, she toiled until she was soaked with sweat and blood. She was honored for her willingness to carry out the necessary tasks that others avoided. She was given the name Ox. Next we have the tiger. The third was short-tempered and quick to battle. He spent several lifetimes crafting and honoring a legendary blade imbued with materials from the Earth's core. When it was finished, he became the sentinel of the city, defending its borders from the rabid beasts. He was given the name Tiger. And to this day, the lost blade is still widely sought after. Why wouldn't it be widely wanted? The rabbit was alert and observant, the fourth one, constantly predicting danger in both the present and the future. She heeded the threat of the Earth's fissures, the potential origin of eruptions, poisonous vapor, even unknown creatures from down below. So she made it her mission to seal the chasms, whether with bridges, natural coverings, or the burying beneath layers of rock. She was given the name Rabbit. The fifth, the widest of them all, disappeared without a trace. The mythical beast itself. He journeyed alone to distant lands, searching for something that would cure the darkness of night. One day he finally returned, and on his shoulders lay the gleaming moon, which pierced through the shadows like a crescent spear. He scaled the heights of the tallest mountain in the Sumars range, and pierced it in the sky. That night and every night thereafter, the moon shone, chasing away the impenetrable darkness. He was given the name Dragon. For his wisdom and labor, the 12 installed him as their venerable leader. The sixth was a lover of beauty. He saw how beauty could uplift weary souls and cure burdened spirits. So, he dedicated himself to crafting delicate treasures and trinkets. Some would bring wonder, others would bring hope, others simple amusement. In this way, he shared his extraordinary talents. He was given the name Snake. The seventh, who was known to be lively and full of compassion, built the very first school. She constructed a place where children could be educated in history, literature, and mathematics, and then soon it would be science, chemistry, physics, biology, IT, PE, community, religious educations. With her great heart of youth and learning, she single-handedly inspired a movement of knowledge and literacy. Under her watch, education and entertainment were never far apart. She was given the name Horse. The 8th was passionate and impulsive. Her personality was exactly like the wild, hostile ocean that churned around the island. Ram. Through persistence, hard work, and years of frustration, she finally tamed the waters into something usable. It is said that throughout the process she learned much about herself, and that is why water provides a reflection to this day. She was given the name Ram. The monkey. The 9th, playful and spirited, was always looking for opportunities to having fun. For his project he assumed a giant garden of trees, flowers, and shrubbery, a lively, colourful place where families could gather and enjoy themselves. He included swings, mazes, tree houses, anything that a child could ever wish for. He was given the name Monkey. Everyone's favourite morning call. The 10th loved the morning and was of the morning. She was distraught when she saw the foul quality of the air, so she purified the skies of their dust and ashes. Her hope was that every man could wake up, step aside, take a deep breath, and love the morning just as much as she did. She was given the name Rooster. The 11th was steadfast and loyal and lovely. Throughout history, he became the cornerstone of the Zodiacs. He earnestly watched over them, constructing their homes, watching their children, and overseeing their moments of conflict. He dedicated the very essence of his life to them. He was given the name Dog. And last but not least, the 12th, passionate and deeply focused, treated the sick and the wounded. She built the first hospital and studied medicine earnestly. She could never be found in the same place. Her feet were always itching, taking her to people begging for doctors and helpers. She became a wanderer and a nomade in her quest to fight death itself. She was given the name Pig. Thousands of years passed. The 12 ruled side by side over Lunar City. As the citadel thrilled and grew, they divided Lunar Isle into 4 provinces. Kanto Silo, the eastern heart of the island, was to boost a lively city life. Kanto Orbi, the southern peninsula and the largest province, was reserved for a society of agriculture. Kanto Westrix, which lay by beautiful natural features in the west, led a peaceful village culture. And Kanto Arches, set by the mountains of the north, became the home of wealthy societies. Yet as the citadel continued to grow, the people began to grumble. Why were they ruled by others? Why were they not allowed to rule themselves? They scorned the wisdom of the 12 and demanded a share of the power. So with heavy hearts, 6 of the 12 stepped down, replaced by 6 ordinary citizens elected by popular vote. In this way, the power would be divided between the 12 and the citizens themselves. So peace prospered. For eras, all was calm. But this would not remain. Early one morning, the cry of Kanto Arches woke to a terrible smell coming from outside his window. The odour was thick, heavy, like rotting meat. He looked outside and he saw horror beyond horror. 44 carcasses were piled beneath the sweltering midsummer sun, right in the province square. The corpses, which were already infested with, maggots, were impaled by a single sign etched in blood. Judgment of the foolish. Their bodies were dismembered, their heads decapitated, cleanly and swiftly, severed by the experienced strike of a blade. The crier alerted the Kanto officials immediately. The victims were identified as the families of the 6 elected citizens, those intended to share power with the 12. Panicked, the Kanto immediately turned to the Zodiacs, the legendary guardians, who had already guided their steps with wisdom and decorum. Why had the 6 mortals of the government been murdered? Who was responsible? Was the entire city in danger? And yet, at the hour of greatest need, the Zodiacs had vanished. Not one was found. The citadel dissolved into utter chaos. Slowly, doubt and suspicion dragged the people into blind terror. Next of kin, blood, brothers, sworn allies, every link, no matter how strongly bound, was tested and broken. Riots rose and fell as quickly as the sun. Everyone became paranoid of their own life, driven by hallucinations into insanity. The cobblestone streets were bathed in rivers of blood and metal. And just like this, society disintegrated into anarchy. To hide their madness, the people began to fashion masks in a macabre depiction of the 12. The twisted lair of the rat, the bloodthirsty vengeance of the tiger, the uninhabited lunacy of the rooster. Every one of their past heroes was mutilated in a celebration of porcelain and wood. With their identity safeguarded, the masks shamelessly killed all in their path, striking like bandits. There was no rhyme or reason to the slaughter. All that was left to society was the desire for power and dominance. For years the city fell to pieces. Truth was forever lost as the elderly were slain and records caught fire. The past faded into ashes, burned in despair. And then a single thread snapped. The chaos stopped. Lunar City has shredded itself to an irreparable state. It could no longer sustain the sheer violence that war demanded. No structure remained to be destroyed. No soul remained to be slain. No fortune remained to be pillaged. The few survivors of mankind were forced to band together to ensure their survival, ending the bloodbath known as the Zodiac War. Slowly, stone by stone, they rebuilt the kneeling city back to its former glory. Slowly, person by person, they refashioned a new government led by a 12-member executive cabinet. Slowly, year by year, they repopulated broken cantons and added one to their number. Canton Celesti, the canton of the government. Now, as we flourish and continue to rebuild, we await the return of our sentinels.
Wowie!
That was so gorgeous. No wonder season theatre is so expensive. The music was well done. Live orchestras are rare.
Right?
It was like history came to life right before my eyes. History. Don't fool yourself, Harving Fest. It's a legend. Fiction.
Maybe.
Well, yeah, but did you see those costumes and the set design? I bet that when the actors are on stage, they feel like they've just time travelled. Not likely. Do Halten and Zax not get along?
Well,
Hey! I bet that they had a great time either way. Right, Twitchy? Or maybe they're just trying to remember their lives. Really?
Nah.
Probably not. They're pros after all.
hey.
Well, dumplings, the night is still young. What'd you say we pop over to Season Tower and have ourselves a little dance? I'm game.
Yeah.
Same. Have fun. Gramps, come on. Why? There's no reason to go to Season Tower.
No way!
Are you kidding me? You've never gone to Season Tower? What kind of law-abating citizen are you?
What?
Going to Season Tower is a vital part of Founders Day. What for? To get a good luck charm for the new year. To wait in line with brawling kids and pushy salesmen. To hear the same legends over 1,000 times. To remember our beginnings, Halten. As if those are even... Never mind. He was definitely looking at me when he cut himself off. What is he hiding?
Uncle.
Uncle, do you come with us? A night like this is very rare. Only comes every 365 days. You'd be missing out. Not quite. Miss Alison. A night like this is far more scarce than 365 days. What, Founders Day is every year?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, something's definitely fishy. Hold up, honey bumpkins. You're missing the best part. The Lunar Waltz. Remember how fun it was, Pip? Who's Pip? Ah, he's Pip apparently. Where did these nicknames came from? It was the very first year we actually managed to get Twitchy to dance with us. We can't drop out now, it's Gramps' turn.
Hey.
You're never getting me to dance. Wait, that means... Yes! Guys, Grumps is actually coming. He won't dance, but he's coming. I never said. Lunar Waltz. We're headed right for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle.